Have you ever felt like your whole world was spinning out of control? Like no matter how hard you row, the storm just keeps getting stronger? You're not alone. The disciples once felt that exact fear, until something incredible happened. It was evening on the Sea of Galilee. After a long day of teaching the crowds, Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "Let's cross to the other side." So they boarded their boat and pushed off from the shore, leaving the hustle and bustle behind. The sky above them was likely painted with the gentle hues of sunset, and the soft lapping of the waves against the hull created a sense of peace. For a moment, all was calm, but then without warning, the atmosphere shifted. Dark, menacing clouds raced across the sky, swallowing the last light of day. A furious wind began to howl, whipping the surface of the sea into a frenzy. What had been a peaceful cruise turned into a fight for survival as monstrous waves rose up, crashing over the sides of their small vessel. These were not just any men. Among them were seasoned fishermen like Peter, Andrew, James, and John, who had spent their entire lives on this very water. Yet the storm was so violent, so ferocious, that even their expertise was useless. They were utterly terrified. Imagine the sheer chaos of that moment. Rain lashing down, cold and relentless. The boat groaning under the strain, tossed about like a toy. Water poured in relentlessly, threatening to swamp them completely. Panic set in as they bailed desperately, their muscles straining and their hearts pounding with fear. In their minds, a single horrifying thought took root. We're going to drown. This is the end. And where was Jesus amidst all this terror? Incredibly, he was in the stern of the boat, fast asleep on a cushion. Unfazed by the raging tempest, he rested in perfect peace while his closest followers fought for their lives. Soaked, exhausted, and at their breaking point, the disciples stumbled to where he lay. They shook him awake, their voices filled with desperation and a hint of accusation. "Teacher!" they cried out. "Don't you care that we are perishing?" It wasn't just a question, it was a desperate plea from the depths of their fear, a cry of helplessness in the face of overwhelming odds. Jesus awoke. He didn't join the frantic bailing or shout orders. He simply rose, his presence a stark contrast to the surrounding chaos. He looked out at the raging storm, at the roaring wind and the churning waves that threatened to consume them all. Then, with a voice of absolute authority, he spoke directly to the tempest. "Peace," he commanded. "Be still." Instantly, a miracle unfolded. The howling wind ceased. The violent waves collapsed. The deafening roar of the storm was replaced by a profound and complete silence. The sea, which moments before had been a raging monster, became as smooth as glass. A great calm settled over everything, a stillness so deep it was almost more stunning than the storm itself. The disciples stood there, drenched and trembling, but now for a different reason. The fear of the storm was replaced by an overwhelming sense of awe and wonder. They stared at Jesus, then at the placid water and back at him again. The chaos they had just battled was gone, silenced by 3 simple words from their teacher. They turned to one another, their voices hushed with reverence and a dawning understanding. "Who is this?" they whispered, "that even the wind and the waves obey him?" In that moment, they saw more than a great teacher or a wise leader. They saw someone with divine power, someone who held authority not just over sickness or sin, but over the very forces of creation. The lesson from that stormy night on the Sea of Galilee echoes through time for us today. Jesus is Lord over every storm. No matter how fierce the winds in your life may blow, or how high the waves of fear may rise, you can trust in the one who can speak peace into any chaos. Thank you so much for watching. If this story encouraged you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that will inspire and strengthen your faith.